Coming up today, it's episode 117 of In the Front Row. Our guest is Daniel Ruettiger. You know him as Rudy. Yes, the Rudy that played as a walk-on for Notre Dame football, made that infamous tackle back 50 years ago, November 8th, 1975. Became a movie in 1993. The rest is history. And Rudy joins us today to talk about that story and his time with the Fighting Irish and what that moment has done for his life and his career. It's episode 117 of In the Front Row. Rudy Ruettiger. Well, Rudy, thanks so much for spending a little time with us here today. And obviously, a lot of folks know your story. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into it here today. But I want to start with your name. Your name is actually Daniel. So it's Daniel Ruettiger. But tell us who was the first person who called you Rudy, because obviously it's stuck and it's a name that a lot of people know now and recognize.
Well, I'm one of 14. A lot of people are called Rudy. If you look up Rudy Barbecue, Rudy this, Rudy that, because you're one of 14. They don't remember your names and they call you Rudy.
So again, for you growing up as a child of 14, what was that like?
That's a good question. I never thought about it. When you're in a big family, it's about discipline and sharing. It's about working together. It's all those things your parents make you do in order to have not chaos, but organized chaos. So, yeah, I was very fortunate to grow up in a big family. I learned early on that big families are cool because you're never lonely. You always have someone to play with, always have something to do. You get in trouble with somebody. You got that opportunity to understand who you are.
It's
called resilience. Notre Dame was easy, by the way. It really was, if you want to know the truth. The hard thing was growing up, getting the resilience. Your first job was paper route. Hey, cold, snow, rain, you're passing those papers out. And you go collect the money so we could send you to the Catholic school. That's a lot easier than going to football, a lot harder than going to football practice. Football practice, all you did was hold a dummy, get hit, and get back up. In real life, you're getting hit all the time getting up. So when people ask me about Notre Dame football, it was all about resilience. It was all about understanding what your role was and what you had to do to contribute. A lot of people try to be outside their comfort zone, which is good. I stayed within what I knew who I was, and it helped me survive. And that's what big families taught me. You don't have to be that smart to go to Notre Dame. You have to have good work ethic. Study, ask for help, and learn how to collaborate. The Navy stepped in and taught me that. In school, they didn't teach you that. They just called you a dummy. So that was difficult. When you asked me how hard Notre Dame was, it was like a slice of heaven, if you want to know the truth. Real life is a lot harder.
Well, and then you go to the Navy, on the command ship for 2 years. What did that?
It taught you how to work as a team. When you're on a football team, there's no Republicans and no Democrats. There's no Catholics, no Protestants, no Mormon. You're all one, It's about, hey, can I trust you? Do your job, and you win as a team. And there's no race. That's what I loved about sports. And Navy was no different. You were there to, they had your back. You're a brotherhood there, for real. It taught me a lot about life, the Navy. They stripped you down to nothing and they build you up. Where in life, they build you down. They never lift you up. It's true. School. They never lifted me up in school. And they always made you feel stupid. But when I got to Notre Dame, I felt smart because I already knew about resilience. I already knew they're not real. Notre Dame was there to make sure you won. The professors and the teachers. Middle school, high school, man, they were the opposite. That's what I don't understand. We don't teach skill or trades or human behavior the correct way. It's all about education that confuses kids along the way. And when you hit real life, the real deal, they teach you the real stuff. You go home, you got to pass papers, or you got to clean the house, or you got to pick up, or you got to help with dinner, or you got to do chores on weekends. There's no playground, basically. There's no recess. Recess is totally different than real life. So I hope you get my point. My point is being around a big family helped me, called resilience. After high school, I had to go to work. That's called, you better show up for work. You learn about showing up. In school, you try not to show up. Even when you played sports in high school, It was ridiculous how they looked at you, how they sized you, how they didn't look at your heart, or they looked at, your speed. And Notre Dame looked at much different because Eric Parsegian was in the Navy. He knew about character. Dan Devine was in the Army. He knew about character. The kids who didn't know about that, you didn't hang around or ask for help. Why would I go to an All-American when he says, why are you here? You go to a coach, Rudy, we need you, buddy. And that's where you stuck around. People with character and leadership skills understood contribution, attitude, what it takes to make a team. And that's what we're trying to teach them. But it's hard to teach them when you come from a culture of entitlement. And today's the worst for kids in sports. It's all about money. It's all about, if you don't like me, I'm going to transfer. Pay me all the money now. I don't have to earn it. Just pay me what my talent. Come on, man. It's sad what's happening in college sports. I don't even like watching it anymore. It's not fun. I was watching the Milwaukee Brewers, who I love, Pat Murphy. He comes from the hard school, hard knocks. He understands how to lose and win. He understands you can't win every game. And he calls average Joe type of guys, which, they have talent, but they're average Joes. They're not big time players, but they're winning. Why? Because they know how to win and know how to lose. They lose to win. Winning is about teamwork and attitude. All that stuff is taught early on, by the way. I love Pat Murphy's story. We were shooting the movie Rudy. He shows up at Notre Dame to get a baseball job. No one wanted to hire him. He didn't look like a baseball coach. He's an Irish kid from New York. And he goes, no, I could take this team to a national level. They had a club sports team at Notre Dame. They couldn't see that. He saw it. Well, they finally hired him, and the guy retired, paid him $7,000 a year, took that team, started recruiting average Joes. Guess who he recruited? Greg Conso. He ended up playing Major League Baseball to a World Series, and Greg Conso ends up hiring him after he got fired from Arizona State, after he built a tremendous program at Notre Dame. It goes on and on, how your early childhood plays a big part of you're not entitled to anything, you got to work for it. And that pays off later on. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, for you, paid off because going to Notre Dame. Why was it Notre Dame? What was it about Notre Dame, and in particular Notre Dame football?
Are you Catholic?
Yes.
Then why wouldn't you want to go to heaven?
For you, neighbors heaven.
That's how they taught you, man. You go to Notre Dame, you're going straight to heaven. Why wouldn't I want to go to Notre Dame? And that's how they presented Notre Dame to you. So then I found out that's not true. Anybody can go to Notre Dame. And just because you go to Notre Dame doesn't mean you're going to go to heaven. So all this stuff that's taught to you is out of fear and out of control. It's no different what's happening today. If you look around our government and what's happening, it's the same crap. And then you get a kid that speaks the truth, and then they shoot him. I don't want to get political, but my whole point is we're in a mess with our college sports. We're in a mess with our kids. We got to start teaching merit. That's why I love the fact that our military is about merit now. Period. I don't say no more.
So again, that military background for you drives you for this. And again, to make that team, what was that moment when you were a football
believe
team?
In myself. That's what it comes down to. When you start believing, you start dreaming again. You get confidence. When you have confidence, you dream. And you don't look at the obstacles. You take care of them as they come. You're looking at today. What do I have to do today? Tomorrow comes and a problem comes, I'll take care of it. Don't ever look for the problem. It's already there. Don't worry about it. It'll show up.
You play for two coaches that had military backgrounds, but with that coaching change, with you already on the team, were you concerned about staying on the team at the time?
No, I didn't care if the coach liked me or not. It didn't matter. I'm going to show up anyhow, whether you like me or not. You can't worry about someone liking you to be part of something. My feelings were I'm coming to practice whether you like it or not, and I'm showing up, and I'm going to contribute. My dream was already fulfilled by getting in Notre Dame academically. Football is just icing on the cake. Football was not the answer to my dream. It was getting in Notre Dame was the answer to the whole dream. because getting in was the challenge. Once you're in there, it's gratitude. It's a whole lot of work, but it's not work you regret. It's a work you look forward to. It's like anything you love doing is not work. It's not work when you love what you're doing. It's hard work, but it's a different type of feeling. So that's what it was for me. Look, there's a lot of kids that went to Notre Dame, very talented kids, very smart kids, and then I hear them criticize me, which is fine. Criticism is part of the game, especially when you do something, you're going to get criticized. We were making a movie, we got criticized from whether you're at Notre Dame or elsewhere. They called you whatever names, you're not worth it, you didn't do anything. Well, I'm glad I didn't hang around those people, because I got lucky by not being around them. So you're going to hear it no matter what you do. You're going to get criticized no matter who you are, what you are. Look how good looking I am. And yet someone said, you're the ugliest guy I've ever seen. My whole point is how I look at myself is much different than how you look at me.
So after you're in that scout team with these other kids, was that part of mixing in and fitting in?
That was easy. They had no idea what hard work was. They had no idea what going to war was. They had no idea what wartime drills were. They had no idea what no sleep meant. They had no idea what it was to become a man, but they had the talent and skill. They go to practice, they go back to their dorms, go to sleep, or they go back to their dorms, have pizza. We didn't go back. We didn't have dorms to go back to. You got to go out and watch, bro. You got to go find mines out in the ocean. You got to look for the Russians out at sea. This is real. I'm talking reality. And that's why I say, if you're going to be somebody, go to the most uncomfortable place you can be and become a man. And that was the military. So the military was a big asset because it was easy going to practice. Yeah, I was disappointed. I'm human. I get disappointed. Absolutely. I got rejected. Absolutely. But it was common, ordinary people that kept me going. And those are the people that I went to when I needed an uplift. I didn't go to the entitled guy. It was cool going to the janitor because he understood. He had gratitude because he loved being at Notre Dame. He reminds you why you're in the best place you could be, dude. You know how many people want to be where you want to be? And it's true. Reality sets in. So you're always looking for what we call the crescendo of the victory. It doesn't come unless you show up. It doesn't come unless you prepare. It doesn't come unless you want it. It doesn't come unless you understand why you're going to practice. You're not going to practice to be a star. You're going to practice to be part of a team. You're going to practice to make the other guy better. You're not going to practice so you can get a bigger payday or you're looking for that. Money at the time wasn't even in the picture, but at the same time, thank God for the GI Bill that helped pay for my tuition. I didn't get a free meal at Notre Dame. I had to go pay for my meal, which I had to go to work or I had to go to a friend's house to eat. There was nothing given to me, and my parents couldn't give it to me because, you have 14 kids. You got to worry about them, man. Can't worry about me. So I had to learn how to survive on different ways. So I was a entrepreneur at Notre Dame in a different way. That's how entrepreneurs are. They find ways to win.
Well, you found your way onto the team for a game in 1975.
I didn't find my way, man.
How did that decision come about?
Well, that's a whole different discussion. The NCAA ruined it for everybody. A stupid rule called you can only dress 60 when they would dress 110. Era Parsegian would give you, if you come to practice every day and contribute, will dress you for your final senior day. I mean, that's a big incentive to wear that uniform, run through that tunnel, right? These rule makers, these bureaucratic guys, I don't know what the hell they were thinking. They cut down the dress list. Think about the hypocrisy with our sports. If you gave a guy $10, he would be eliminated from the university because you're aiding and abetting his what? Today, I think, if I'm not mistaken, a $60 million payroll at Ohio State. I don't know what Notre Dame is, but I'm telling you, it's a lot of money these kids are getting.
Yeah.
If you get $10, $100 during when I played, you're out. So the NCAA is foolish. They're stupid. And I say that to them and to their face. You're idiots. You're making all this money. Why'd you give these kids a stipend so they can have a hamburger? So they can go home and see their parents. What's your problem? The problem is called greed. And that's what our universities come to, greed. Use these athletes to make a lot of money. I don't blame the athlete. Go get your money. They're not loyal to you. When you leave, you're done. They don't even want to see you. That's why they can't get rid of me.
I was gonna say you're still loyal to them now. Are you still involved?
I'm loyal to the University of Notre Dame. I'm loyal to what they stand for, not the athletic program. I mean, they don't even bring me in to say hi. They bring the stars in. It's okay. I'm not here to say, look what I did. But it'd be great for me to sit in front of those kids and talk about resilience. Why losing is important, how to lose, why failure is important, how to fail, why it's important, to learn about your character. But they'd rather hear from the guys who were 4-time Super Bowl champs. Guess what, dude? You're never going to get there. There's only a certain small percentage that will get there. But everybody gets out in life. Everybody gets out in life. They have to work hard. What have you done? Yeah, there's a lot of talented kids that make a lot of money. Not everybody can be millionaires. Why be a millionaire when you can make enough money to take care of your family? Money's good, don't get me wrong. It's nice to have a nice car, a nice home, take care of your children. You don't need $1 million to do that. You got to live within your means. We all want to be somebody we're not and have what we shouldn't have. So my point is, less is more. My dad never had a new car. He didn't get a new truck until the movie was made. I bought him his first new truck. He was in his 70s. I didn't have my new car till I was, 50-some years of age. What's my point? What do you really need to become the person you want to be? That's the question. Oh, we need the nicest clothes and then the bling and the ding and the and all the sharp talk on ESPN. Yeah, put you on the field there, Stephen A. Smith. We'll see how tough you are, right? We'll see how much you talk then, dude. I'm talking about a guy who's out there busting and humping and you criticize him because he didn't do this. That's where it was. Now, he's got the ability to speak and do all these things. Where do you want to be? It's not easy being an athlete. It's not easy being a student athlete. Now it's easier because I don't think they even have to go to class because, hey, if they're failing, you go to another school and fail that one too. It's crazy. How did it get to Notre Dame from another? I don't get it. You know how hard it is to get in Notre Dame? I had to have, from the junior college, I had to be an honor student to get in. Are these guys honor students?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
It's all about money. There's a lot of great kids at Notre Dame, a lot of great athletes. And I love these kids when you really meet them. They're good kids, but I don't think they understand resilience, how much it's going to pay off later in their life. It looks good now. It's easy because they're living at the Ritz-Carlton at school. They eat better, live better than most of us. They got the best facilities, and you're losing football games when you got the best of the best. You got a locker room with a TV over their locker. They got the best locker room I've ever seen. We had iron locker room. They look like you're in prison lockers. I mean, come on. Oh, times have changed, Rudy. Well, yeah, they sure have. Maybe that hard old adage of coaching or where you grew up, they don't want. My kids, when Danny, my son, went to school, he had to work. And he played hockey. Now he's a police officer because he learned about hard work pays off. My daughter's the same way. She went to the Boston Conservatory. She had to work, but it paid off. It's called work ethic, having gratitude. If you're going to go to school, you're not there to party. You're there to work, get an education, and get a degree and get a skill that you could take care of your family once you're out. I'm not saying they don't do that. I'm just saying, I went
a little different than you in the moment. That's about 50 years old now, right? November 8th, 1975. Take us through that moment and what it was like.
Why do you want me to go through that moment when I don't even care about that moment?
No.
I mean, it was a thing I was supposed to do. I mean, it wasn't a moment, oh, look at me, I made a tackle. That's what I was supposed to do. And when they carried me off, I was embarrassed. Why are you carrying me off? Then a guy like Joe Montana, Hall of Famer, said it was a joke. Well, okay, Joe, it's a joke. But it's no joke. It's no joke when that kid was inspired by that moment that saved his life, or was inspired by the movie because it helped him get to the next level, because he learned everybody has a shot in life. It's not just for you, dude. It's for everybody who wants to work hard. But you can't say that to guys like that, because they're at a level. I mean, come on, being a Hall of Fame guy is pretty cool. 4 Super Bowls. Not bad, right? How many guys could be 4 Super Bowls? How many can you name?
2, right? Or just 2.
Won a national championship and 4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
And Montana says, my little carry-off was a joke. Was it a joke when I was in the Navy? Was it a joke when I was in the power plant when my friend died, when I tried to resuscitate him to come back to life? That's no joke, dude. That's called life. And the real life was I got in Notre Dame because I had to work hard. That's not a joke. For me getting on that practice field and get my butt kicked, I had to get back up. And it wasn't a joke when I had to go buy my food. I had to go buy my books. I had to go find a tutor. You had all that handed to you. That's not a joke. That's called life. So don't call me a joke. I earned that little moment because I prepared for that moment. And when I was in that moment, I played no more different than you did. I got my moment because I earned it. I'm happy that you won 4 Super Bowls. I get this all the time from people. Why did Joe Montana call him? Well, I don't know why he did that, but I know he's a good guy. I never had a problem with Joe Montana. But why he said that, I don't know. You should never take the low road on your teammate. Never. Take the high road. You'll be better. We're taught to criticize. I'm not being hypocritical. I'm giving an example. I love Joe Montana. I see him at signings all the time. We shake hands and say hi. But people can't wait to put you down behind your back. Tell me to my face, man.
Well, what went into the movie? You know, obviously,
Rocky, the movie Rocky.
It's in 93.
Well, Coach, you ever seen the movie Rocky? Didn't that speak to you? Well, of course, it spoke to me, gave me a dream. Because I was always fascinated with movies. And that gave me the opportunity to dream like a movie. Because going to Notre Dame was a movie in the way I looked at it. It only happens in Hollywood, but this was real. I wanted to show it's real, guys, not a movie. This is real. So I wanted to portray that in a movie.
How hard was it?
Going to Notre Dame was a lot easier.
How important was it to get Angelo Pizzo involved with that? A guy that
Angelo
also did
not want to write another sports movie. He hated Notre Dame. How did I get him to do that? I met a mailman one day. Angelo stood me up and wouldn't come talk to me. A mailman brought me to his house, and because he liked me and because I liked him, he liked me for whatever reasons. And Angelo told me right up front, he's not going to do another sports movie, and he hates Notre Dame. Well, there was a guy from Michigan State that applied to Notre Dame. He got turned down. He applied to Michigan State, got in, became a walk-on. Now he's the president of Columbia Pictures, and he loved the movie Hoosiers. Now he wants another sports movie like Hoosiers. So who does he call? Angelo. Rob Freed, who went to Cornell, was a producer, brought Angelo in to meet Frank Price. It took 10 years to get 1 minute. Now, what's my point to this? You never know who knows somebody. You never know who's going to get inspired by your story. And that's why you keep moving forward and keep making it. If you have the dream, you don't quit on something that you feel. Too many people give up. Mine was not a fantasy. Mine was real. Just like going to Notre Dame, that was real. just like academically. I had to work. I had to go to Holy Cross. I had to go magna cum laude. I had to go. I had to become a cum laude graduate. How hard is that when you're third in your class from high school, from the bottom, and you're dyslexic? You got a lot of help from kids and people and teachers and professors. That's called collaboration, and it's no different in Hollywood. Once you start knowing how to collaborate with people, talk to people, and have patience, that's why I sold insurance for 10 years. To learn about listening. You listen to people, not what you need, what they need. Just be patient and keep dreaming, keep pushing forward. And all of a sudden, you get the opportunity and it happens. Oh, Rudy, they made your movie. Had a goal, had a purpose. There's a big difference. A lot of people make great movies. Jon Favreau makes a lot of great movies. His purpose was to make movies. But he would never got to Hollywood if it wasn't for making Rudy. Because his first movie was Rudy. We casted him out of Second City, out of Chicago. He was washing dishes, him and Vince Vaughn. You never know who's going to show up to help you, do you? Just like the mailman helped me get to Angelo's house. Now, if that mailman didn't help me, if I would have sat in that restaurant and felt sorry for myself, I would never met Frank Price the way I met him. But you don't know that. That's why you got to keep moving forward. No different than Notre Dame football. Keep going to practice, show up. Keep practicing, keep learning, keep getting better. And that's called work ethic.
How involved were you in the hiring of Sean Ashton to play
100%. Sean wouldn't have the part if it wasn't for me seeing a movie called Memphis Belle. And I'm not putting the credit on me, but God created that moment because Sean showed up in a movie called Memphis Belle. And my dad was a World War II veteran, 22 missions on the B-17. And there's Sean. Bingo. That's him. And all I had to do was introduce him to David and Angelo. They weren't even looking for him. And Sean gets the part because he's a great kid. He went through a lot of obstacles. He did a great job.
How much time did you guys spend together on set for him to know?
We never left each other. He didn't ask me, how'd you become Rudy? He just hung around and saw who Rudy was. Saw my sense of humor, saw my attitude. He picked up on that.
You mentioned Rocky as an inspiration. Mm-hmm. Did you think this film, this movie about your life would be as big of a hit and as memorable now as it still is?
Stallone, he'll tell you. He says, when we met finally, he says to me, you have something I want. You have a legacy, I don't. That's important. People don't remember you for Rambo or, whatever movies you make. They remember you for your character, who you were, what you were. And that was an important statement because I always wanted to meet Stallone. I met him when I was supposed to meet him after I broke that wall down that he respected because he knows how hard it is to make movies. So he respected that. And he doesn't have any problem telling you that. I respect you, brother, because I know how hard it is. You get that respect when I go to these signings from hockey players. I had Michael Vick come up to me, respect me. I had Kobe Bryant tell me I was his hero. Wade Boggs come up to me, and it was nervous to meet me because he respected me. WWE guy. But I go up to the entitled athlete. He don't want to know you. That's okay. I don't want to know you. I'd rather know the guy who understands what work ethic is and how, even though, like Kobe said, God has blessed me with the talent. All I had to do was work hard and get better like Rudy. Real simple.
Year again, 50 years ago, November 8th, 1975, the movie 1993. You're still a name. That surprised you that, again, your story has had the lasting power that it has?
Well, how was America built? From dreams, immigrants. It's not illegal immigrants. It's immigrants that paid their way here and became an American citizen the right way. And that's what it's about. That's why people connect. That's what they understand. And I'm not going to pull a punch here, man. You got to do this right or you don't belong here. It's real simple. There's all this crap going on, and it's coming to light that things are going to get better. God's going to come back into the picture in a good way. We need faith. Even when I was in the Navy, the guy said he didn't believe, but man, when he got seasick, hey, Rudy, say a prayer for me, bro. You always get that moment where that faith does come in.
So what is your life like now? What are you doing to keep you busy and again, to let people know and some of the lessons you've learned along the way?
I just got the American Valor Award from the Navy, which is pretty cool, right? Not many people get that. I got to be with, think about this, American Valor from the United States Navy. And all I did was show up, and do my job on the ship. And I was no big star, but because of the movie, it inspired other kids to go into the military. So to them, that was a great honor. And they give you respect for that. So now I get to speak to military people, military kids. With a father this morning, his son was in the garage working on his dirt bike. And I says to him, I said, what's he going to do after high school? I don't know. I said, boy, that kid's got a skill, man. He's got to get in the Air Force or Navy or somewhere. Today he's working on F-16 bombers. He's a head cruise chief. Wow. So my point is, go where your skill is and go where people want your skill. So he ends up in the Air Force. Look what he's doing today. But this is where you come in and empower and inspire people to do things because they respect you. That could never happen if I quit going to practice. So I tell these dudes, why are you quitting the school? Why are you going to another school? Grass isn't greener. More money, man. More money. What's going to happen when you can't make that money? What are you going to do when things get tough? What are you going to tell your son and daughter when things get tough? Go find another mom and dad? Come on, man. We have to teach our kids how to fail and why failure is a learning curve. And when you fail, you learn what not to do. You learn what to do, and you get better at what to do. And you learn who you are. So my whole point is, it's not all about winning. Like Pat Murphy texted me yesterday. He said, sometimes you got to lose to win, Rudy. You're going to be okay. I said, these boys will be back on track Saturday. Trust me. And that comes because we met early on in our life. We understood each other from day one, the day we met. He was a dreamer. He came, no one wanted him. No one wanted Justin, but he brought in Justin Pedroia. He brought him put him in a junior college to give him Arizona State. Look what he became. I can go on and on with all his athletes, the average Joes, right? It's amazing, his story. A lot of stories. There's a lot more Rudy stories out there than just Rudy. I mean, yeah, I made a motion picture out of it because I got involved with the Rocky moment because he had a great messages, and I wanted great messages. Not everybody can be a baseball player, but everybody can be a Rudy.
Rocky and Rudy, both of them uplifting stories. Yours, you lived it, and people.
There's a guy at Disney that became a Pixar animator producer, and he was told he'll never get it, and because of the movie Rudy, now he's one of the top directors, producers at Disney and Pixar. But you hear these stories all the time. I got a call from the president of Universal Records because of Rudy. He became the president. I go on and on with stories, but people need to know I can do this too, no matter how smart you are. It's like Kobe Bryant. Go to Kobe, USC, Rudy. Listen to what he says. Very simple. He said, my message out of Rudy, everybody should just work hard and get better and don't live in regret, period. And that goes a long way.
I know you've got a website. What is that website? How can people kind of follow you and get some more information about you and your motivational speaking?
Well, RudyInternational.com. And Cheryl takes care of all that. And she'll put me where I'm supposed to be. Hey, I got a great dog, Clover. I got him when he was a pup. I almost gave him up because he was so much work. He's a German short hair. And dude, you know how much work that is? I said, no, Clover, you and I, we're going to ride this out, buddy. He's one of the best dogs because it's called discipline. It's called consistency. It's called love. When you show love to a dog and discipline, they respect that and they learn. But if you just leave a dog run wild, you become a wild dog. And I knew that was a lot of hard work to get them there. I love watching trainers. I love watching people who know what they're doing. That's how I learn. I love watching people who understand what they want. And it's not all about them, it's about the team. It's about everybody around them. When I go back to Notre Dame for the Navy game, I get to speak to the military kids at Notre Dame and do a book signing. I do an NBC thing. That's pretty cool for making one tackle, right? One tackle.
Yeah, you've gone a long way with one tackle, but certainly, again, a great uplifting story for
a
sure.
Speaking career, 4 books, 4 honorary degrees, doctorate degrees, a Valor Award, and all that was a dummy in high school. You know? You turn that around by saying, I am somebody. I can do this. I don't have to be the best. I just have to be awesome every day. When you're awesome, you don't have to be great. You're just awesome. Does that make sense?
We'll leave it there, Rudy. I can't thank you enough for spending a little time with us here today and to hear your story, man. It's incredible, again, where you started and where you're at now. But
where are you out of, by the way?
We're out of Wilmington, North Carolina.
Oh, I love it. A beautiful state. Who's that coach at North Carolina?
It's Bill Belichick. Yeah. Yes.
Tell Belichick to call Rudy.
We appreciate Rudy's time today, and a special thanks to his wife, Cheryl, for helping arrange that sit-down. For you, as always, we thank you for watching, for listening, and invite you to like, to subscribe, and to share our shows. More great guests, more great stories coming your way very soon. For JR Quitman, our creator, producer, and director behind the scenes, I'm Mike Vaccaro. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time on another episode of In the Front Row. Have a great day, everybody.